Y'all, what is up? And I promise you, after this video, I will have a comic book video of some capacity. I promise y'all. But I want to talk about this because I've been looking forward to this all week since last Saturday, since the epicness that was that episode. The Legend of Korra, season 1 finale was this morning from 11 to 12. And before I even get started with the review, I want to say that probably next to season 2 of The Last Airbender, one of the best, season 1 of Batman animated series, definitely. And season 1, season 3, and this and but let's put it like this: it's up there as one of the, and season 1 of Earth's Mightiest Heroes too, but one of the best seasons of an animated television show I've ever seen in my life. Like up there with Archer season 2, shit like that. You know what I mean? Like this was awesome. Like this was awesome. Like I can't stress that enough. Like this was amazing. Like all week, all season, people have been speculating about what would happen, and how this would happen, that would happen, blah blah blah. I think everyone was wrong in some capacity. I don't think anyone gathered that right on the money this would happen. Like I was wrong about a lot of shit. I thought Asami would turn. That didn't happen. I thought a lot of shit was going. But anyway, let me get on what happened. There will be spoilers in this. There will be an ass of spoilers in this. So you might just want to cut this off. Episode starts after the events that happened in episode 10. Lin Beifong got a bending taken away. Republic City is basically lost. The what's it called? The United Forces are on their way to Republic City. Shit's about to hit the fan. The episode starts. It's Korra. What was it? It's Korra and Mako. They at this elitist rally where Amon is talking to the elitists, saying the elitists, the equalists. My bad, elitists, equalists. He's talking to them, telling them that we're gonna take back Republic City, blah blah blah. The Avatar's on the run. There's hardly any benders left. Blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Then Korra and Mako, they're undercover, and they hear what he's saying. Korra's all upset. She's like, I'm tired of being patient. I want to take it to this motherfucker. Blah blah blah. Not gonna happen. Okay. Then you see they're hanging with one of the old dudes you saw at the beginning of the series or whatever, and I'm not even gonna ruin about him because it's actually something really cool. I'm not gonna ruin that at all. I kind of just want y'all to see that, but they devise a plan because they find out that the elite guard is on the way. So Korra's like, we're gonna go see, make sure they get here all okay, because the airships might still be in the sky, shit like that. So when they go out there, there's no airships at all, and then Korra sees the mines out on there's like mines laid out in the ocean. And, the mines are exploding, things like that. Korra hits the water so she can go help General Iroh, who's Zuko's grandson, if y'all didn't know. Same dude does his voice too, which is pretty cool. And then they go and they save him, all that good stuff. And then then when they bring him back to where they were hiding. And then Iroh tells them about his plan to not his plan, but he finds out that Amon knows about the rest of the ships coming, and he knows they're gonna walk right into a trap. But Korra was like, we need to go. Korra was like, no, I don't want to go with y'all to help them. I want to go fight Amon because this is not what he would expect right now. You know what I mean? And then Mako was like, you can't do this by yourself. I'm coming with you. Blah de blah. He's like, so we're going. They went to the temple that Amon was using as like his base of operations, and they waited for Amon because Amon went in, and then Amon came out, and they snuck in, and they waited for him to get there. And when they went up to that, when they went to hide in the temple, they went up to the attic, and in the attic was Tarlok. Tarlok, he was the councilman that turned out to be shady. Was a bandit named Yakone's son. And how Yakone was a bloodbender from years ago that Aang had stopped a long time ago, and uh, his dad, Tarlok's dad was Yakone, and he tells them like his dad like I'm not here to say you're obviously not here to save me, we got bad blood and things like that, and then she was like, and then Korra asks him, are you the only prisoner here? And he's like, yes. And then Mako was like, why is that? What makes you so special? He was like, because I know of mine. And he was like, what do you mean? And then he's like, he's my brother. And I called this, by the way. But I thought I was wrong when he took his bending. You know what I mean? But he finds out that, they find out that he's Amon's brother. He tells their backstory about how Amon's a waterbender. And they grew up in a water temple. Water village. Years go by, and then they find out Yakone changed his appearance and everything. You know what I mean? When he raised them, and he told them years later that okay, I was a bandit, I was a bloodbender. You know what I mean? Well, I was a murderer, I was a criminal. You know what I mean? And I was a bloodbender, and Avatar Aang took away my bending, and I want revenge on him. You know what I mean? And he was like, and y'all, I want revenge on Republic City, and y'all two are gonna be my instruments of revenge. You know what I mean? And Tarlok, he was a good kid, and he pretty much trained them, shit like that. He trained Amon and Tarlok, to be waterbenders and bloodbenders, and Amon's real name is Novatok, by the way, but he trained. This is not the best review. I'm just trying to necessarily give y'all, just try and give y'all like a quick summary of what went on, but as he was training them and stuff, Tarlok didn't like to do some of the things that Yakone told them to do, but Amon did it with like no problem at all, and like it was this one thing, it was this one part where Yakone told them to bloodbend each other. And he told her, he was like, Novatok, blood bring your brother. And then he did it on Tarlok or whatever. And then Tarlok, and he told Tarlok, okay, it's your turn, do it on your brother. And then Tarlok was like, no, that felt horrible. I don't want to do that to anybody. That felt terrible. And then Yakone started yelling at Tarlok. And then as he was yelling at Tarlok or whatever, he had like he was gonna slap Tarlok. And then Amon, because I'm just gonna call him Amon. Fuck Novatok, he's Amon. He started bloodbending, Yakone, and he was like, you leave him alone, shit like that. And then he lets him go, and then he's like, come on, Tarlok, let's get out of here. You know what I mean? Like me and you can leave together. And he was like, we can't just leave Mom behind and all that stuff. And then Amon was like, well, Novatok, before he's Amon, he's like, oh, he's right about you. You're weak. It's like he says, and he runs off. And they try and find him, but they could never find him. They thought he was dead. After that, Yakone gave up his quest for revenge, and years later he passed away. And Tarlok and Tarlok's mom was just under the impression that Novatok was dead, and then Korra and Mako asked Tarlok, how are you so sure about this? Like, how do you know? And he was like, well, when Amon took away my bending, I could feel his touch, and I know how his blood bending felt. You know what I mean? It's like, it's psychic blood bending. That's how he's able to do it without a full moon. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily water bending. It is water bending, but like it's more like psychic water bending. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty damn cool. But which explains why when Tarlok was trying to bloodbend him, Amon was just able to walk right through it because he was fighting it with his brain. You know what I mean? It's awesome. But Amon is amazing. But he was like, well, when he took away his bending, he could feel his brother's touch, and he said he knows how that feels. That's how he knew it was his brother. And then they were like, well, so that's how he's able to take people's bending away. He pretty much lobotomizes the superpower in their brain. You know what I mean? So they can't concentrate enough, or they can't, or they let's put it like this: they forget how to do it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. It's kind of like it's kind of like he shuts down that part of their brain. It's dope. But Then Amon, then Tarlock apologizes to Korra. He's like, I know I caused you a lot of trouble. I apologize. I'm not a bad person. It's just I thought I was doing the right thing. You know what I mean? And then he was like, you need to stop Amon. And then Korra was like, well, the Equalists are having a rally. We're gonna go to this rally, and we're gonna tell all his supporters about who he really is, about how he's really a bender and shit like that. And so Amon's at the rally, he's speaking, blah 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 blah. And I'm not gonna cover everything. I'm not even gonna talk about Sami and her dad and all that stuff. Y'all gotta watch the episode. I'm just mainly talking about the shit that I really really cared about. Which, don't get me wrong, that other stuff was good, but the story with Amon is what had me hooked to this show. But like I was saying, he's at the rally. He's reiterating the story about how his mother got killed by a firebender and all that stuff, and he got burned and all that shit. They left him scarred too, and all that good stuff. And then Korra, she's in the crowd in the skies, her and Mako, and Korra yells, that's a lie, you're lying. And they both take off their mask, and then the general, Amon's general is like, girl, it's the Avatar, get that bitch. And then Amon's like, no, let the little bitch speak. And then she was like, well, tell them what really happened, Amon, or should I say Novatok? And like Amon like frown, like you see, like it's just a little shit like that, like it makes him like so awesome, like his mannerisms and everything. Like you can tell he frown, like he's wearing this mask, but you can see like his eyes squinch up, and he gives her like this death stare. It's like it's just it's awesome how they animate that, and then the general's like, you lied, stop lying on our leader and shit like that. He's like, nah, let her finish her story. And then she told them pretty much what Tarlock had just told them. And then Amon was like, well, since you don't believe me, how about I just show you the truth? And he took off his mask, his face was burnt up, just like he said. And then Korra's like, that's impossible. You know what I mean? And then then they attack her, then she runs, and then Amon, well they don't attack her first, and then he's like, first before they attack her, Korra's like, well, not Korra's, Amon's like, well, I got a surprise for you, you can stand there and watch. And then he moves the sheet, and it's Tenzin and his family. I mean, it's Tenzin and his kids, all of them except Pima and the baby. And what's the name? Rohan. It's all of them except Pima and Rohan. And and then they jump on stage and they free Tenzin, and then Tenzin they airbend, and then he's like, Tenzin and the kids get out of there, and then Korra and Mako pretty much run from Amon, and Amon's chasing them, shit like that. And Korra goes to hide in this room. Her and Mako go hide in this room, and like Korra hides under this table, and then like while she's hiding, she lets out a deep breath, and then Amon yanks her from under the table with the blood bending. So like Tarlock told her, like Tarlock said, he told the truth pretty much, and he's blood bending her. You know what I mean? And Mako tries to help her, and he gets blood bended, and then he takes Korra's bending. Like while Mako's getting blood bended, he takes Korra's bending, and then the general comes out of nowhere. He's like, Amon, you're a liar, you're a traitor. Everything the Avatar said is true, because I just saw you blood bend. And then he starts blood bending the general. He was like, oh, this is a shame. You served me well. And then Lance Henriksen's character. He's like, you served me well. You're cool. And then they threw him against the wall. I assume he died because he fucked him up. It was crazy. And then Korra. No, this is what happened. As he was going to take Mako's bending, the general comes, and then he messes up the general and throws him, and then he goes over to Mako to get ready to take his bending. Mako shocks him with a lightning bolt, and then him and Korra run away. Amon catches up to them, and then as Amon is going to take Mako's bending again, Korra airbends for the first time, and it's amazing how it's handled. And all the motherfuckers that said they rushed through that, and and how can she randomly blood bend? Obviously, y'all have not paid attention to the show, because the reason why she is able, why she was not able to blood bend, because blood bend is an emotional style of bending. She did not know how to use her emotions while she was bending. You know what I mean? She didn't know how to become at peace with herself. You know what I mean? In general, she didn't have a reason. She never had a reason to bend aside from beating the opponent. She was in love with Mako. You know what I mean? and her, and you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Mako was like, you know, her soulmate. You know, she's spiritually connected to Mako. She saw Mako was in trouble, and she couldn't do anything else, so she airbended for the first time. It's not like she was a master. It was her first time doing it. You know what I mean? It was like, you know, you about to take my Booski's bending. Boom. You know what I mean? it was that type deal. It's not like she was making air bubbles like anger or anything like that. It was just like she was shooting random gusts of wind. You know what I mean? Because Mako is the man she loves, and this nigga was about to take his bending. You know what I'm saying? So it made perfect sense. I don't get where this notion comes from that they rushed through that. When it happened, it made perfect sense. Y'all just didn't pay attention. You know what I mean? But anyway, that happened, and they get away. They don't get away. After she airbends, Amon falls out of he falls out of a window. His mask comes off, and he's underwater, and the burn mark, which turns out to just to be paint, disappears from his face. And then he water bends out of the water, and a crowd of people at the Equalist rally, they see him water bending. And it's like, oh my God, you know, he's a fraud and all that stuff. And then Amon goes back underwater. And then he goes back to the temple. And he gets Tarlock. He's like, you know, yo, brother, I need you. You know, you're all I got left in this world. Let's just go off like you said. You know, let's just leave this life behind us. You know what I mean? And meanwhile, while this is happening, Korra talks to. I actually don't know if this is the exact order. I'm actually not watching this right now. I didn't take notes either. I'm just going by what I'm thinking about randomly. Okay, I may be all out of order, but you know, y'all get the gist of what I'm saying. Korra's talking to Beifong and the rest of them, and you know, you know, the Beifong's like, oh, he got you too, and all this stuff, and you know, they're all sad and shit. And then let's cut back to Amon and Tarlock. They're riding away in a boat, and Amon's like, you know, me and you against the world again, brother. You know, just like old times. And Tarlock's like, yeah, Novatok, just like old times. He's like, Novatok. He's like, it's been a long time since I heard that name. I forgot that was my name. You know what I mean? And then Tarlock looks at him, and he looks at one of the chi blockers, and he puts on the chi blocker, and he puts his hand over the gas. What's the shit in the car where you put where the gas is kept? You know, he opens the gas can and puts his hand right there and blows up the boat while they're both on it. It's like a double suicide. Amon cries because I think he knows what's coming, and it's a double suicide on a children's show. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like they kill each other. Like, you know, Tarlock kills them both in this boat. It's the most awesome shit. Period. Like, I did not expect that at all. It was a lot of shit happened in this episode. And then after all that happens, something cool happens that I don't want to ruin, and they kind of leave it. Well, you know, I will ruin it since I've gone just in all through this episode. I've ruined Amon's brother and us. Let me just tell you. Katara comes to the Air Temple Island at Republic City, and they find out that no, she goes home, something like, because her parents are there too, because Korra's parents are there too. I can't remember, but you know, Katara was like, I tried everything I could. You know, her connection with, you know, the elements has been severed. I don't know if I can help her. You know what I mean? It doesn't look like it, and you know, she's all upset, and then you know, Mako tries to go after her, and Tenzin was like, you know, no, just let her go. Just let her, you know, accept what's happened to her. You know what I mean? And then, you know, Mako goes after her, and he's like, you know, I love you. And he was like, you know, when you were, he was like, you know, I've been saying that a lot. He said, Korra, you know, when Tarlock took you, you know, I couldn't contain myself. You know what I mean? Like, I was upset. You know, you know, you're my everything. I love you. And then Korra was like, I can't do this right now. You know, she's pretty much like, you know, I'm not good enough for Mako. I mean, I'm not the Avatar no more. I'm not good enough for this dude. At least that's what she was thinking. Not the case, but that's what she was thinking. You know what I mean? And she rides Naga. She goes off. She looks, she's looking off a cliff and she's crying and shit. And then she's sitting down on like Indian style. And then you see someone dressed in Air Monk's clothing behind her. And she's like, Tenzin, this now's not the time. I ain't in the mood to talk. And then you hear a voice say, "But you called me here." And then she stands up and she turns around and it's Aang. And then and I'm barked out like a little bitch. I ain't gonna lie. And then he's like, this is when we're at our lowest point, Korra, and some other shit he said, and then you can reach your full potential. Some speech he gave her, and then all the other avatars throughout history appear, almost like how Aang did in the Last Airbender, how he talked to his past, like how he communicated with his past lives. Well, all of them were there. You know what I mean? You saw the nigga before Aang, the one that Fire Lord Ozai's dad. I forget his name, but the one before Aang, that dude. The one that was friends with Fire Lord Ozai's dad. I gotta watch the Last Airbender again. I'm just lost, but y'all know who I'm talking about. If y'all seen the Last Airbender, y'all know what I'm talking about. All of them, all of them are there. And then Aang touches her on the forehead, and then at that moment she achieves the Avatar state. All her bending is back, and it's awesome. You know what I mean? And then Mako's behind her. He smiles, and then she says, "I love you too," and they kiss. You know what I mean? It's a really, really, really touching moment. You know what I mean? It really is. And then they go to another scene where Beifong's like kneeled down, and Korra, she has a thumb on her head, like Amon did when he takes niggas bending, and she touches Beifong and enters the Avatar state. Beifong's bending comes back. So apparently Korra's gonna go around and restore everyone's bending in the Avatar state. And then Tarlok says to her, "You've done good work, Avatar," or something like that. And then the show goes off. Amazing, damn near perfect finale. If this was the end of the series, it would be perfect. They're going to do something for season 2, and I just wonder where they're going to go from here. Amon is dead. Tarlok is dead. Korra has her bending back. She's giving motherfuckers their bending back. You know what I mean? I don't think this will be immediately after. It's not like The Last Airbender, where it was an ongoing story for all 3 seasons. This is more like, The Legend of Korra, almost like the Tales of Korra, you know what I mean? And I'm fine with that, you know what I mean? Amon apparently was a big step for her to apparently, I guess in the realm of this universe, you know what I mean? Amon was was a big part of her legend, you know what I mean? Because Amon is, he claimed to be a 9-bender, but he really was a bender, and he wanted everything to be equal, you know what I mean? And I guess her saving Republic City is a part of her legend. I guess that whatever the next season will be something that also makes her legendary. And if they decide to make another show where it's like whoever, you know what I mean, I assume that Korra will be kind of integral in that, kind of like Aang is in this. You know what I mean? To me, real shit, one of the best season finales I've ever seen in my life. Every episode in this season is good. You know what I mean? There's not even an okay one. Every episode is at least good. You know what I mean? The fight scenes in this immaculate. Like it was a few in this episode that are just amazing. You know what I mean? This show, like seriously, the voice acting is top notch. Let me talk about Steve Blum for a second. If y'all know Steve Blum, he's the voice of Wolverine. He's all around. He's Tom from Toonami, and he's the voice of Amon in this. Absolutely amazing job. Like like his mannerisms and everything. Like it's like he keeps the same tone the entire time, but it works. You know what I mean? It makes Amon terrifying. It makes him motherfuckers like on my Twitter page like this morning, motherfuckers really don't like Amon. You know what I mean? Amon's my favorite character on the show. Motherfuckers really didn't like him. Motherfuckers really wanted to see him lose. You know what I mean? Clancy Brown did a good job as Yacone. You know what I mean? The voice acting all over is top notch. I mean, everybody on the show does a good job. J.K. Simmons. If y'all know him as uh, J. Jonah Jameson in the Spider-Man films and Ultimate Spider-Man, and you know he does the voice of Tenzin in this show. Also, dynamite job. You know what I mean? Everyone does their part well. The story is well written. The comedy is actually funny. You know what I mean? It's not like most of these most cartoons nowadays where like comedy is just forced. Like whether it be like something like one of those kids shows, or even something like Family Guy or something like that. Even South Park nowadays, like where the comedy just seems forced. This doesn't. It's genuinely funny. It's like naturally funny. You know what I mean? Y'all need to watch this show. Like, if the next season is just as strong as this one, it is definitely on par with the Last Airbender. Seriously, like I feel like this season here is better than every Last Airbender season except season 2. I thought season 2 was amazing in that show, but I feel like this is at least as good as season 2 of the Last Airbender. Like this show is awesome. Like man, like I was so into this season finale, and I thought it was perfect. Like motherfuckers that had their little minor complaints about it, I don't understand. But cause Korra, like the airbending thing, that's what really bothered me. Like they said it's an emotional, spiritual type thing. You know what I mean? The airbending. You know what I mean? She's in love with Mako. You know what I mean? And it came out because she was trying to protect Mako. I was totally good with that. I was totally good. She didn't know she could do it, so it's not like Amon took it away. She didn't know she could do it. The ability was in her the entire time. She just didn't have a reason to do it. Because remember, before she just wanted to know airbending because she picked up everything else. Like, she just thought it was something she could just pick up. She airbended because she was trying to protect Mako, and she loved to do it. It totally worked for me. Everything in this episode totally worked for me. I'm babbling now. Y'all need to watch this. I promise y'all a video of the comic book variety is coming soon. I'm not sure what though. I still owe y'all that Iron Man review. I know that. I still owe y'all that Avengers review, the Hawkeye review, and the Black Widow review. I know that. I know that, and I'm sorry. But this show is awesome. Y'all need to watch it. I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.